Few franchises have provided more consistent joy in the past decade than Minecraft. It's proven to be a world of limitless possibilities, where imagination can lead to just about anything, even something outside of its original world-building sandbox genre. Now, Minecraft is diving into the hack-and-slash dungeon-crawling genre with Minecraft Dungeons. Does Minecraft Dungeons deliver a dungeon diving experience worth playing? Or is this game better left as creep food? Find out in our review. The Minecraft Dungeons story is an extremely simple one. There once was an Illager who stumbled onto ultimate power. Remembering those who shunned him, the newly dubbed Arch-Illager is using this power for vengeance and world domination. It's an easy story to follow, coming across like general Saturday morning cartoon fare for the all-ages crowd. The actual Minecraft Dungeons gameplay fits in well with its contemporaries in the genre. Players get a melee weapon, a ranged weapon, and 3 artifact slots that can either be used for enhanced weapon attacks, magic attacks powered by souls, or additional healing. Speaking of healing, players get a potion that's infinite in supply, but only held back with a cooldown timer. There's no real inventory to speak of, as everything is kept as simple as possible. With simplicity in mind, one area that stands out immediately is the total removal of base stats. Characters can level up, but the traditional RPG concepts of leveling up to improve their stats is thrown out the window. Instead, players are as strong as the gear they have equipped. This is Minecraft Dungeons' coolest idea, but it also leads to one of its biggest setbacks, which I'll get to in just a second. The actual gear system is pretty neat. Each melee weapon, ranged weapon, and armor has a secondary function that can be upgraded with the aid of enchantment points. Enchantment points are earned by leveling up characters. If a player finds a better, higher level piece of gear later, enchantment points aren't wasted. Salvaging the old gear will retrieve all attached enchantment points. It's a novel system, one that allows for a degree of experimentation by taking out different weapons and trying out their different perks. With no complex systems to worry about, the focus is entirely on exploration and gameplay, which come out to be something of a mixed bag. The combat against different mobs feels engaging. Some take a simple sword rampage or an arrow barrage to take down, and others require different strategies. For example, pesky magicians can power up nearby mobs and keep themselves at a distance, which requires either a precise arrow shot or a clever use of an artifact. Once mobs get mixed up a little more near the end of the game, that's when it feels like Minecraft Dungeons encourages more tactical variety. Levels in Minecraft Dungeons feature procedurally generated layouts, which can be helpful when it comes to repeating earlier levels down the line. It helps reduce that feeling of repetition that can set in all too quickly with a game like this. There isn't too much of a concern when it comes to getting lost, because there's a helpful waypoint marker that can point players in the right direction. Most paths are straightforward. Sometimes the player will find that the right path is gated off. This requires finding a key, and it leads to one of Minecraft Dungeons' best innovations: the keys. The keys in this game are living creatures themselves, so grabbing one becomes something of an escort mission. If the player takes a hit while carrying the key will jump off and try to run away. Sometimes, enemy mobs will just try and steal the key themselves. The key riding on the player's back, literally kicking and screaming, had me grinning ear to ear, and Minecraft Dungeons' whole dynamic with keys is a cool addition to this type of game. A minor problem does arise in going off the beaten path to search for secrets. Sometimes the game will generate a path that looks like it's leading somewhere cool, but instead leads to a dead end. It doesn't feel very good when you barrel through a bunch of enemy mobs, just to literally hit a wall. A bigger problem comes with the Minecraft visual style itself, because with the isometric camera perspective, scenery will more often than not block the view of enemy mobs. When there are dozens of mobs on screen at once, that's a big issue. By the late game, you're not going to want to see any obstructions, because the mobs will get much tougher. I had a good time with Minecraft Dungeons through the first 2/3 of the story. Oh, and before I go any further, I should stop here and mention that the game is short. The main story is maybe a couple of hours, though it can be stretched out depending on when your party finds any unlockable secret stages or hits a wall at the end. There are more levels that are gated off beyond the map that will be tied to paid DLC, which didn't feel very good to see, especially with the main adventure being as abbreviated as it is. I had a good time with dungeons, but the end game ramps up significantly in terms of difficulty. The bosses, the final one especially, get noticeably harder, and I saw more than a few game over screens that sent me right back to camp, requiring me to start the level from scratch. This is where I had a bad realization about one of Minecraft Dungeons' key features. It's true, you're only as strong as your gear, but if your gear isn't strong enough, you can't really progress any further. While Mojang came up with a solution to one problem, they've created an entirely different one. As I mentioned earlier, leveling up only earns enchantment points, and by the end of the game, players have likely already maxed out their enchantments. Leveling up doesn't increase your stats, it only increases the gear that you can find later. So any personal stat improvement is tied entirely to RNG. You're not grinding to level up your stats. Instead, you're grinding to find better equipment. And when you do find that better equipment, maybe it doesn't have that extra perk you want, which leads to more grinding. This is where I had yet another bad realization. The solution to the above problem would be to simply try and craft a better piece of equipment. Except there is no crafting system. And for Minecraft, a franchise built so heavily on building and crafting things, that feels like a major oversight. And while Minecraft Dungeons pays so much respect to the franchise it's based on through the environments, mobs, and story, it feels unthinkable that players would be at the mercy of random drops. Even at camp, there's no shop to buy equipment, there are only vendors that offer random drops. More often than not, they're common. Want a rare or unique? I hope you feel lucky. I can appreciate Mojang wanting to be subversive and dump some typical genre conventions. Minecraft Dungeons reminded me that sometimes conventions are conventions for a reason. Minecraft Dungeons has the foundation for something great here. I love how easy it is to pick up and play. Players of just about any skill level should be able to jump right in with no trouble. Outside of opening level narration, it's not story heavy, which makes it ideal for dropping in and dropping out of games. It's much better suited for co-op than its contemporaries, though as of this review, I only engaged in local play. I've yet to try out the online component, which is supposed to receive crossplay in the weeks ahead. That said, this game has some problems, the biggest of which involves a lot of that aforementioned RNG. It might be making a mountain out of a molehill, but the closer I looked at the problem and inability to craft, the more I felt that that particular issue was just antithetical to Minecraft as a whole. Having said all of that, there aren't many complaints with the gear itself. There's a lot to find out there, and with the different artifacts in the world, there are some cool character builds to put together, without diving into anything overcomplicated. But while the core Minecraft experience can be enjoyed alone, Minecraft Dungeons feels much more suited for a night with friends. So be sure to link up with a few partners, because it's dangerous to go alone. For more video reviews and everything else gaming related, you're already in the right place. You're on Shacknews.com.